There is a question many Muslims carry quietly in their hearts, but rarely dare to ask aloud. Is what I am practicing truly Islam, or merely the version I inherited? Is my faith rooted in divine guidance, or shaped by culture, fear, tradition, and social pressure? Because somewhere along the journey of generations, Islam, a revelation meant to liberate minds, became entangled with culture. And when that happens, truth becomes blurred, and faith becomes heavy. Tonight we unpack one of the most uncomfortable yet necessary conversations of our time: cultural Islam versus Quranic truth. Not to divide, not to accuse, but to return. Islam did not descend to protect customs. It came to correct them. The Quran repeatedly challenges blind inheritance, the idea that truth is validated simply because our fathers did it. Allah addresses this mindset clearly. In Surah Al-Baqarah 2:170, Allah describes people who reject guidance, saying that they follow what their ancestors practiced, even when those ancestors lacked knowledge or guidance. This verse is not about non-Muslims alone. It is a warning to every believer. Truth in Islam is not inherited by blood. It is recognized by reason, conscience, and revelation. Yet today, many beliefs labeled Islamic survive not because they are Quranic, but because questioning them is socially dangerous. Culture is not evil. It gives identity, language, and color to life. But culture becomes dangerous when it claims divine authority. When cultural expectations are defended more fiercely than Quranic principles. When people say, "This is how Islam is," but cannot show where Allah said it. Allah warns us in Surah Al-An'am 6:1-16 that following the majority blindly often leads away from divine truth. Yet cultural Islam thrives on majority thinking. Everyone does it. This is how it's always been. Don't ask too many questions. But revelation never feared questions. The Quran repeatedly appeals to reason, reflection, and moral awareness. In Surah Sa'd 38:29, Allah states that the book was revealed so people may reflect deeply upon its messages and awaken their understanding. Reflection is not optional in Islam. It is commanded. Yet cultural Islam often teaches obedience without understanding, practice without purpose, fear without love. This creates Muslims who perform rituals flawlessly, but struggle to explain why they believe. The Quran does not want performers, it wants thinkers with faith. Many injustices historically justified in the name of Islam were actually cultural practices wearing religious clothing. The Quran shattered social hierarchies: tribe, race, lineage, gender superiority. Allah declares in Surah Al-Hujurat 49:13 that human worth is not based on ethnicity, status, or origin, but on moral consciousness. Yet cultural Islam sometimes rebuilds the very walls the Quran demolished. Revelation liberates. Culture often controls. If anyone could have preserved Arab culture untouched, it would have been the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. But he did the opposite. He challenged tribal arrogance, gender injustice, economic exploitation, superstition, social hypocrisy. His mission was not to Arabize humanity, but to humanize humanity. Allah describes this mission in Surah Al-A'raf 7:157 as a process of removing burdens and chains from people. Islam was meant to lighten lives, not suffocate them. When religion feels heavier than it brings peace, we must ask, is this revelation or tradition? Honoring scholars, elders, and traditions is part of Islamic ethics, but the Quran never grants infallibility to culture or people. In Surah Yusuf 12:103, Allah reminds us that truth is not determined by numbers or popularity. Respect does not mean surrendering your conscience. The Quran calls believers to think independently under divine guidance. Blind loyalty belongs only to Allah. Cultural Islam often controls behavior through fear. Fear of society, fear of shame, fear of rejection. Quranic Islam develops inner accountability. Allah emphasizes in Surah Al-Qiyamah 75:14 that the human soul is deeply aware of itself. Islam is meant to shape character from the inside, not police appearances from the outside. When faith is reduced to reputation management, its spiritual power is lost. This is not a call to abandon culture. It is a call to filter culture through the Quran. What aligns, we keep. What contradicts, we correct. What oppresses, we release. Allah commands in Surah Az-Zumar 39:18 that believers listen carefully, reflect, and follow what is best. That is not rebellion. That is obedience at its highest form. What we have explored tonight is not a rejection of our past, nor a rebellion against our people. It is something far more honest. It is the courage to separate what Allah revealed from what humans repeated. Because Islam was never meant to be inherited like property. It was meant to be discovered again and again by every heart. Culture can give us roots, but revelation gives us direction. When culture and Quran walk together, faith becomes beautiful. But when culture replaces revelation, faith becomes fragile. The Quran does not ask you to disrespect your elders. It asks you to think with humility. It does not ask you to abandon your identity. It asks you to purify it. And it does not ask you to break away from your community. It asks you to return to Allah with awareness. If this conversation made you uncomfortable, that is not a failure of faith. It is often the beginning of sincerity. Because truth does not always soothe first. Sometimes it wakes us up. And this channel exists for that purpose, not to argue, not to label, not to judge, but to return calmly, thoughtfully, honestly, to the Quran as a living guide for the modern mind. If this reflection resonated with you, if it helped you think deeper, question sincerely, and seek clarity without fear, then stay with us. Subscribe to this channel. Share this message with those who are searching quietly, and continue this journey with us, from inherited faith to conscious conviction.